Okay, so Triple H is going to be, well, currently right now he is on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast, and you got to love the timing of these. Such controversy going on, and they announced it even before, I guess, all the controversy started, that Triple H would be with Stone Cold, asking, getting hit the hard-hitting questions, whatever, this and that. And you got to love these interviews. I don't have the WWE Network, but I know there's a big difference between watching the interview and then listening to it. Stone Cold uploads his interviews to iTunes afterwards for those who don't have the network, which is good because I download it and I listen to it there. And the interview comes off great just by listening to it. And I could only imagine. I still haven't seen the Vince McMahon one visually, but just by listening to it, and I can seeing clips here and there of Vince talking about Triple H and this and that. But just the facials you get, and when the guy asks a question and the response, you can really see if what he means by just the story that his face tells. And with Triple H, well, first we'll start with Vince McMahon. The fact that he came on the podcast just a week or two after the CM Punk Colt Cabana podcast dropped, so just the timing there was kind of, it was impeccable. Really, you couldn't ask for a better time to drop a podcast, and it was really a matter of would Stone Cold Steve Austin ask about CM Punk, even though the fans were all expecting it. But with WWE, they kind of stay on the low with these kind of things. But Vince was very open to talk about it. He says he didn't listen to the podcast, but I'm sure he knows everything that was said. And with Triple H now, he's under the microscope when it comes to the direction of Raw. Why has Raw been shitty? Whatever storyline questions they ask with Sting is about that. But when it comes to really the nitty gritty of things, why is Roman Reigns there instead of Daniel Bryan? Why did you guys knew you'd be in Philadelphia? Why would you not play to a smart mark crowd? Why would you guys just go against the grain? Now it's kind of backfired on you. And with the Vince one, I was wondering if Stone Cold would even ask those kind of questions, but after listening to the Vince interview, Austin doesn't hesitate to go into the danger zone, if you really want to call it that, zone that you don't expect a guy who signed a lifetime contract with the company. He goes there, and I think that's what you have to admire about Steve Austin's interviews, especially these ones that are on the network. Austin knows what people want to. Austin knows what goes on in the fans' mind because he stays connected through his podcast, through his Twitter. And I know if you send questions to SteveAustinShow.com, I know a couple people who've sent it, and they've gotten a reply back from him. And he says himself he reads every single one, but he may not reply to everyone. So, I think at the beginning you listen to Steve Austin's first podcast, it was kind of a slow progression, but now I think he really has everything down packed, and he knows that his opinion and maybe the fans' opinion are very similar. Like, he's been in the business for so long, so he's got a different perspective, but he respects the fans' opinions, and he, talks about it on his podcast. He answers, almost every other week he does just an email question and answer thing, and they ask him questions, and he gives straight answers. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Triple H answers to certain questions, such as Roman Reigns. And I'm sure it's going to be one of those politically correct answers, like, oh, we thought, well, this would be best for business, this and that. But, just the rebuttal back from Austin, you got to listen to the crowd. Why aren't you guys listening to the crowd? He's going to talk about NXT a little bit. So it's going to be a good interview. And the next person I would like to see on the podcast, you really have your top two guys, Triple H and Vince were on there. So if you really want to hook someone in, it's like The Undertaker would be the next best thing to do, but him breaking character to that point may not be whatever. Even Daniel Bryan, I think a lot of people would like to see Daniel Bryan or Roman Reigns or even Brock Lesnar, any of those three guys, someone that, you don't see really going off script, someone you don't really get to get an in-depth look at. That's why Vince, I think, attracted so many people. And Triple H, although he's done some interviews here and there, he's never really, I guess put himself out there. I know he did one on the Jericho podcast. He was very candid about certain things. His DVD was great. You heard a lot of stuff that you never heard before and seen, whatever. But Daniel Bryan is probably last on that list, and I would put Roman Reigns second last. But I think Brock Lesnar, for a guy who doesn't talk, who doesn't really do much when it comes to PR, I guess you can say, he would be definitely the one that you want to hook people in to go buy the network. Is like, subscribe at this time and you're going to get Stone Cold Steve Austin interviewing Brock Lesnar, and you know that there's heat there. You know that Stone Cold, he's very open about leaving because he didn't want to do the job for Brock Lesnar. And now you fast forward, that was in maybe 2002 maybe, so we're almost 15 years ago. But it was it happened. And even The Rock, and Rock's another guy, Rock and Austin back together. So I think the novelty of the Steve Austin podcast, it's there. I think it's definitely hooks people in because now you have a little bit of a taste of what he asks, and you can only go. It only goes up from here. Use Stone Cold when you need him. You know, you want people to subscribe to the network. They have this free month right here. That's what they did. A lot of people are going to subscribe. A lot of people want to see Austin. Hey, it's free. Why not? So just it goes hand in hand, and it just when I think about it, I'm like, man, that would be cool to see Brock and Austin. It'd be cool to see Brock and Roman Reigns and Austin and Roman. Yeah, so that's all. I'll see you guys in the next video.